everybody, I'm here. It's been a hot minute. I know I haven't uploaded a video in literally months, and I said I was gonna get better at it. So here we are, trying to be better. I filmed this video honestly like a couple times at this point, and I just really haven't liked the way that it has come out. I just it's giving me the ick. But we are here today to talk about our January reading wrapped, albeit a little late, but we are here to talk about them. I'm so excited. In the month of January, I read 8 books, and that's a lot of books for me. That's actually a record number of books that I've read in the course of a month. This year, I believe my goal is 75 books, which equals to about 8 books a month. And I really pushed myself this month. And 2 of them were poetry books, but I still read them. I'm still excited to talk about them. Let's just dive into all the books I read in the month of January. Let me pull up my little notes. I've been taking notes. So the first book that I read in the month of January was Iron Flame. Look at that cover. She is absolutely gorgeous. I have the edition with the black sprayed edges. She is absolutely gorgeous. And I know that I'm late to the game. I read Fourth Wing in December, did Iron Flame in January. Very late to the game, okay? But I did give this book 5 stars. I know a lot of people don't like this book, but I give this book 5 stars. I really, really liked it. If you don't know, if you've been living under a rock, this is the follow-up to Fourth Wing. It is a romantasy book that has to do with dragons and magic and new worldly creatures and things like that. There are riders who bond with the dragons. Violet is our main character, and she is an absolute badass. And Daddy Xaden is literally everything. Like, whew, he is just so good. So good. Even though I did give this book 5 stars, was it longer than it needed to be? Absolutely. Absolutely. We could have cut down on some of this. Was Violet and Xaden's will they, won't they literally so annoying? Absolutely. If Violet just forgave him and forgave herself, the book would have been like 300 pages, frankly. The start of this book being on a cliffhanger was literally just so freaking incredible. Like, I had to jump right in from Fourth Wing right into this book because I needed to know. I needed to know what was going to happen. I absolutely love that the mom got more humanized in this book. That's all I'll say about that. And Darna, what a freaking queen. An absolute legend, a queen. We love her. So I definitely did hit a lull in the middle of this book, just because it was so freaking long. Like, part 2 doesn't start until page 335. So I definitely hit a lull in this book for a little bit, but you know, sometimes it'd be like that. Sometimes when you're reading a longer book, you don't really speed through it. This, especially being fantasy, you do have to do a lot of world building, and she's still building this world in this book as well. My predictions about this book is I absolutely still think the dad is alive. I absolutely still think the dad is alive, okay? We'll see in the 3rd book, though. This is really freaking good. And, like, just Next up, I read Sometimes I Lie by Alice Feeney. I had heard so much about Alice Feeney. I had heard about how great Rock, Paper, Scissors was and everything like that. I heard really incredible things about her. And honestly, I gave this book 2 stars. It really wasn't for me. If you guys don't know what this book is about a girl named Amber, and she is in a coma. And there are 3 things that you should know about her right on the back cover. I'm in a coma, my husband doesn't love me anymore, and sometimes I lie. And this is supposed to be like a fast-paced thriller book, and it really just fell flat. I really struggled reading this one. This one took me like a week and a half to read. I truly wanted this to be so good. Truly wanted it to be so good. I think in this book, there was just way, way, way too much going on. It had an A plot, a B plot, a C plot, and a D plot, and we could have just gotten rid of one of those plots just entirely because it just kind of really didn't make any sense. It's really, truly like Alice Feeney had so many ideas and just tried to squeeze them all into this book and try to tie them all up in a little bow at the end, and it just really didn't work for me. And then the chapters, it flips between like now, then, and childhood, which is a lot. Like, now is literally just her in the coma, being uncomfortable, and the chapters make you feel uncomfortable, and of course that's the way the writing's supposed to be. It's very eerie, very uncomfortable, and the writing was really, really good. I have to say the writing was really, really good, but there was just so much going on that I just had a really hard time focusing, honestly. Yeah. Next up, I read The Coworker by Frida McFadden. If you know me, I absolutely love Frida McFadden's writing. Her writing style is just incredible. I'm a Frida McFadden stan, okay? I love The Housemaid. The Housemaid's Secret was kind of okay. Never Lies, definitely my favorite one that I've read so far. Absolutely incredible, fast-paced thriller. That being said, this fell flat. I gave this book 2 stars. This just wasn't it. It wasn't it. So this book is about a girl named... oh my God, I can't remember her name. Natalie. This is about a girl named Natalie who one day goes to work and her coworker, Dawn, isn't there. And she thinks something bad happened to her. And you know, in the course of a Frida McFadden book, of course something bad does happen to her. This book just fell flat. It was so freaking predictable. I knew exactly what was going to happen the entire freaking book. That being said, it was an easy read. I read this in an afternoon just because of the way Frida's writing style is. I read it in an afternoon. There are letters in this book. Emails, letters. They were just weird. Like, they made me feel really weird and uncomfortable. And I guess that's the point of a thriller. Like, sometimes I lie, but I didn't like it. I didn't love it. Not it at all. Sorry, Frida. Not it. And then I read Always Follow Your Dreams, a collection of poems to inspire and encourage your dreams. That was edited by Susan Polis Schultz. And, okay, this isn't a normal read for me. I read this because this was my mom's book. And if you guys know me, my mom is no longer with us. So I was very curious to know. And I just really kind of wanted to feel a little bit closer to her. And I didn't want to donate this book without reading it because it was one of her favorites. I gave this book 1 star just because it was fine. I'm never going to read it again, but it was fine. There's beautiful illustrations in this book, though, I do have to say. Like, they're absolutely gorgeous. It's definitely what you expect from a mom's poetry book, I'll say that. And then I read a book that's been on my TBR for a while. My sister actually got it for me for Christmas, The Tears That Taught Me by Morgan Richard Oliver. I really, really like this book. I gave this book 4 stars, and honestly, this book is a little more God-heavy than I would have liked to read just because that's not really my speed. But the message still rang true about this book. It's all about healing and getting over things and loving yourself, and just, it was really good. And then I jumped into book number 2 of the Never After series. I read Hooked back in December. If you guys don't know what the Never After series is a fractured retelling of fairy tales where the villain, you know, gets a happy ending. And I really love the idea of that. They're all based on different fairy tales. So this one is based off The Lion King. This is book number 2, Scarred by Emily McIntyre. And I gave this book 2 stars. It is a slow burn romance, and the slow burn was just too freaking slow for me. It literally, nothing happens until the last, like, 50 pages of this book, and that's where things get good. Otherwise, it's the, oh my God, the tension, the will they, won't they, like, the entire freaking book, and I honestly just could not handle it. I could not handle it, but this was book number 2 in the series, so obviously I had to press through this book. I feel like I have so much beef with this book. I literally hated this book. I hated this book. It took me like 2 weeks to get through, which is insane because Hook took me an afternoon, and I was so excited to jump into the next one. And my friend who reads was just like, you have to get through it. You just have to get through it. But I did get through it, and I actually jumped straight into the 3rd book in the series, which is Wretched. I always call it Wretched, and I don't know why. It's just the way that I read the word, I guess. But Wretched was so freaking good. I gave this book 5 stars. It was so good. So this book is based off of Wizard of Oz, which was my mom's favorite growing up. So I have a little soft spot for Wizard of Oz in my heart. And the main character in this book, Evelina Westerly, she is a badass. She's a badass. We love mafia type romances, this is kind of, I don't really know how to explain it. It's like a cop romance, mafia romance, drug cartel romance, where Evelina is actually the boss. We have a girl boss, a literal girl boss. Like, it was just so good. It was so freaking good. And this book also has to do a lot with grief because her sister died. And so they're talking about grief. Wow. It was just, I don't know. It was just handled really, really well. I really, really enjoyed this book. So far, this one is my favorite of the series. And the last book that I read in the month of January was Ellen Foster. I gave this book 3 stars. So, funny story. I was actually supposed to read this back in high school for like a summer reading, and I never read it. I read this in the course of a couple hours. It's a very short book, but it gives Catcher in the Rye in the sense that like nothing really happens, which I like. I love Catcher in the Rye. This book was good. And if you haven't heard about like what this book's about, it's literally about a little girl whose mom passes away. Her dad is like a substance abuser, and he also passes away in this book, and it's her coming of age story in all of her grief and dealing with it as an 11-year-old child, which is a lot. It was good. It was good. That is my reading wrap for the month of January, 8 books. And if you guys know me, you know that I tend to buy my books at Savers, and if I can't, I buy them brand new. A lot of these books were Christmas gifts or books that I've already had. But you guys know the rule. If I don't think I'm ever going to read it again, it's going to get donated, which means that 4 books are staying with me. And those 4 books are Wretched, Scarred, just because it's part of the series, The Tears That Taught Me, and Iron Flame are going to be staying with me and going on my shelves, which means that Always Follow Your Dreams, The Coworker, Sometimes I Lie, and Ellen Foster all going to Savers so somebody else can pick them up and enjoy them. I know people are going to go crazy seeing these 2 books at a Savers, because I would, frankly. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading wrap-up. Hopefully February's reading wrap-up won't take so long to post. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there, okay? I will see you guys next time.